welcome to week 9 of our garden tour. We have a few things to plant today and some to harvest, and the garden's looking really fruitful and beautiful. Of our peppers are starting to ripen up, including we actually harvested last night our first candy cane that was ready and ate it. It was really delicious. It's a very sweet pepper, and I've read that if you plant sweet peppers next to hot peppers that they actually won't be sweet anymore. So I was a little concerned about that because I didn't learn about it until afterwards, but they are still maintaining their sweet flavor, which I'm excited about. Then we have a few Anaheims that are ready to be harvested. We have a few baby snap peas popping up. It'll hopefully do better this time around. So it's time to pull up sunflowers. We have one left that's still growing its seeds, so that will come out after it's done too. But definitely freed up a good more amount of garden space. I love what surprises you get in the garden from just nature happening, because we've had quite a few random volunteers show up this year. So right here is a tomato, and it's putting off fruit, and we'll see what happens. So I'm picking quite a few tomatoes that are still not fully ripe, just because we have a storm coming for this whole week, and they're already doing quite a bit of splitting, so I don't want to lose them. And if you put them on your ledge in front of a window, they will ripen up just fine. We have quite a lot of fruit on this plant. I'm not exactly sure which variety it is, but Nick's mother planted these, so I'll have to check with her, but they've been doing really well. So far, this is where we've gotten most of our tomatoes from this season. Okay, so where I planted all those peas last week, I realized I made a mistake. I forgot that one bed is where because we added 3 new beds in the spring when we were creating our Back to Eden garden, and I forgot that one bed is where we ran out of compost and soil to add under the mulch. So we only added soil where we physically planted the squash and tomatoes. So I planted all those peas in just mulch that had broken down, so it looked like soil, but it wasn't. And so I came to that realization because when I came back to check on them after a week later of them being planted, only 1 or 2 had grown, and it's because they don't have any soil or nutrients. So I'm gonna add some organic fertilizer over them right now to just help give them something to feed on. And then once the seedlings come up and produce, I will add soil around them and kind of just amend that bed more. So this is where we planted all those peas last week, and as you can see, there's 1 or 2 down there, and then we have a few little seedlings popping up in this bed, but definitely not as many as I planted. So we're gonna add organic fertilizer just to help give them a nutrient boost. This is the fertilizer I'm going to add to them, just 100% organic, so that we're not adding any harsh chemicals to it, and just a good little nutrient boost.
Fertilizer?
Next up, I'm going to plant some borage seeds, which are a flower that can be used for medicinal purposes as well. And I'm going to plant it right where we had some old sunflowers that never grew, and then this will grow through a really light frost and potentially through most of the winter. How to let okra go to seed. So just every plant's different, and this one, like, look at how ginormous that pot is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm letting this one go to seed, and so it'll grow fully and as big as it can get, and then once it starts to dry up and split is when I'll harvest the seeds from this one pod to plant so many plants for next year. Our other volunteer plant, which is a basil, no clue how it got there, but we were thankful for it. So same for the cucumbers. We let this one go, and so since I knew it was far gone, I left it on the vine to fully ripen and also turn yellow, because you want it to go fully yellow before you pull it off to save it for specifically seeds. Like, you would not eat this, it would be very bitter. I think that is all there is to do out here today. Got a really good harvest, especially for tomatoes. This is our first bigger tomato harvest, so I'll let those ripen a little bit more on the windowsill, and then since we're getting such a little quantity at once, like not enough all at once to can, what I'm doing is I'm cutting an X on the bottom of the tomato and then removing the core on the top and putting them in freezer bags to freeze, because I learned from Roots and Refuge that when you have a garden harvest, it's not big enough, and tomatoes that will easily rot soon if you don't do something with them, that's the perfect way to save them for canning later on, because they'll unthaw and make a paste or sauce perfectly. So that's going to be on our list of things to do here soon. But thank you for hanging out with me guys today. It's been a blessing.